staff that work here in my home has meant the world, has really meant the world. I look back and I'm like, wow, I don't know how I've been so lucky to get the quality of people that work in this home that really genuinely care for my son. My son doesn't talk, but he communicates, and I know that when he sees them, his face lights up. And that gives me such a sense of peace. And that's, I think, more than any parent could ever ask for.
I come in and also I do my assessment. My stethoscope, full head to toe assessment, heart, lungs, bowels, just check all of his skin to make sure his skin is good because he has very sensitive skin. And then normally when I come in, sometimes I do cough assist, which is his main breathing treatment. It's a machine that, puts air into his lungs, shakes it and pulls it back out, which helps him deep breathe because he's unable to deep breathe on his own. So we do that. We do albuterol for his breathing treatments. Then we start his feed typically as a stomach tube. So we do through a feeding machine right into the stomach. And we use a whole tablet that gives us all of our communication needs. It goes through his day-to-day stuff like his feeds, medications, and everything else. It also gives us the space to write down any pertinent information that we may forget to report to each other. I mentioned he had a halo surgery. He had a C1 to C2 fused. And because of that...
I'm sorry, we don't want to talk about that, I know.
It's over. We're fine. There's none of that. Anything.
We're over it.
He was in a halo for 4 months, and then... I know, I'm sorry. But after that, it just progressively got more medical. We needed the suction, we needed the oxygen, we needed the pulse ox, we needed cough assist, we needed the NG tube, because all of those changes, led to just, us realizing he needed more care.
Besides maybe 1 or 2 things that the nurses solely do, the nurses do everything that the aides do, and the aides basically do everything that the RNs do. So it's a very good way for nursing students to be able to gain more knowledge and more experience, because there's very little that the aides don't do that the nurses do. The nurses will draw up the medications, but the aides are the one giving the medication at the end of the day. They're the ones that do have to double check that it's the right amount. There's
so many kids out there who don't have the help that could absolutely need it. They come in all different shapes and forms. The trachs, they're ventilated, they have seizures, all this other stuff that Ronnie unfortunately does not have, but other kids do.
Yeah.
And it gives you a huge outlook and a scope of what these kids are like.
Yeah, I think if a lot more people knew about this, it would help with a lot of the issues of parents not having home care, because I think a lot of people would take the opportunity. Because a lot of pediatric hospitals want you to have some kind of experience in pediatrics. So if you had this opportunity and you got to learn and get a lot of experience working with kids, it would definitely help when you're applying for a nursing job.
I almost feel more gratification coming here, because you see the direct correlation that it has with the family and how much better quality of life they have as well from it.
Because without that support, without us all working together and even learning together how to take care of him and doing everything, was such a vital part of being comfortable here and therefore growing.
Yeah, I feel the teamwork and just when after you come home after a huge surgery, us throwing ideas back and forth of what we think would work best, I think made his care exceptional.
And being flexible to things changing constantly, just being able to adapt quickly and realize okay, that's a better idea. We'll do that instead.
Yeah.
Children like Ronnie are the forgotten children. The pediatric medically frail being careful in the community are the forgotten population. And this is the start of changing that. All that help that you saw tonight, nobody sent them here. Nobody sent them here. No aide was sent here, no nurse was sent here. I have a nursing agency that I'm signed up with. Do you know how many nurses they sent me in 2 years? 0. Every nurse here, Rachel, Emily, my per diem nurses that come, every single nurse is handpicked from me. I tell students when they go to homes, you have to do the interviewing. Not every home is going to provide the same training as another home. Every home operates differently. So I tell the students, when you're going to a home and you're going to home care, you have to do the interviewing. You ask, what is the training like? What is the expectations like? What is my responsibilities? The uniqueness about home care is every home runs differently. The process of getting help is so difficult and so challenging. And yet once I find the help, they stay and they love it. It's just a matter of getting the word out there that this opportunity is here, and it's a phenomenal opportunity.